let's do a music list. You're live. Please check your stream on YouTube. Let's check my stream on YouTube. We're gonna go music list today because I want to try to generate a YouTube following. That sounds funny when I said it. Generate a YouTube following. Good times. Let's see. Stand by. Stand by. At some point, I'm going to do these little, ideally 4-minute snippet shows about comics and how much I love comics. We'll review some of the comics that I'm reading or enjoying, and I'm going to apply something that I do with my own work, like when I make my own comics. Ever since I first became a pro, I would try to find 5 little things among those interior pages or cover. I try to find 5 things that I liked about the job I did, because especially in the earlier days, I was not very satisfied with my work. I couldn't really, I couldn't draw well, I guess, or certainly what I saw in my head wasn't what was coming out of my hand. So it was a very frustrating process, especially in the beginning. So what I would do is I'd try to compromise with myself, and I'd try to find 4 or 5 things about each issue that I did that I liked. And so I want to try to apply that little exercise to some of my favorite comics and shoot little YouTube videos of them. Like, for instance, here's one here. Atlas Comics. I haven't read it yet. I'm kind of halfway through. So what I would do after I finish reading this is I would try to find 5 fire features about this comic book that I really liked, that I really would take away with me after I read it. So if you want, we'll read it together. I know there's at least I've got at least 3 fire features already. One is this typeface. I love this typeface. I don't know where it came from or who invented it, but I associate it with Conan the Barbarian. I just love this typeface. And yes, comics includes type design, lettering, and the fortunate combination of text with pictures. So when you come up with lettering like this, which is so unique and especially so identifiable to me, I think that's a great sign. There's another drawing in here. That's one fire feature. Fire feature number 2 is this character, the Grim Ghost. He's an old colonial era highwayman. He's a thief. He's a burglar. He'd pull over horse-drawn carriages on rural roads and rob them of their belongings. And so after he passes away, he was executed uh, for his crimes. He goes to hell. He makes a deal with the devil. And so here we go. 1975, the devil once again pops up. How cool is the wrong word, but the devil is like in every 70s movie and TV show, Satan himself. And so I have a fascination with the pop culture version of Satan. And here he is. He shows up. He makes a deal with this uh, colonial era highwayman to come to the modern era, the 20th century, and fight crime. I don't know. Love the idea. I think it's just goofy and fun. So that's two fire features so far. I haven't finished the book yet. Let me finish the book. This is a drawing right here. Drawing by Mr. Ernie Cologne, who I knew a little bit. He worked at Valiant at the same time I did. Very nice guy. But this drawing, especially of the young lady, is it's gorgeous. That character is alive right there. That's three, and that's as far as I've gotten so far. So I already got three. I only need two more, and I still have pretty much half the book to go. So maybe I'll shoot a video of this, the Grim Ghost #2 from 1975. This cover's pretty badass too. And I'm a big fan of these kind of screens, these dot screens. So that's four. That's four. Cool cover by Ernie Cologne. Can we get to five without even finishing the story? Let's see. Horses are incredibly difficult to draw. So let's give it up to Ernie for drawing a horse in an excellent way. So if that's my under pressure, if that's all I need to do is come up with one more drawing, I'm going to go with this one. Just because horses are so really hard to draw. I might have given the cape a little bit more of the way this line work, this misty, flowing kind of line work happens with the horse. I might have tried to do that with the cape as well. Cape is a little too rigid, but for design purposes, I think it might have looked better if the cape followed the flowing lines of the horse's trail. But horse drawing is what I'm giving him credit for. Horses are hard to draw, so that's an example of five fire features. What do you think? Would you watch hundreds of videos of that, of me reviewing or finding five cool things about comics? I mean, the episodes are endless. How many comics have been published? If we stopped publishing all comics today, we'd probably still have a million episodes, right? That's my motto. Ange, did you want to be a moderator today? Are you watching DA Comics? I noticed DA's got he's got a bulk show today, right? Filler up flat rate box. Holy shit, $99. What did I miss? I'm working on a Black Cat and Spider-Man drawing. Also gonna mess around with Venom drawing. I'm gonna create a webbing texture background. Very exploratory. What did I miss? What was in this box? Not today. First day back to work after being sick. Listening to you in the background. No problem. No problemo. I'm watching I'm watching DA Comics fill her up box. He he just had a box of like 50 comics go for 99 bucks. That doesn't happen a lot. So I wonder what was in the box. What's in the box? So we just saw an example of 5 fire features regarding the Grim Ghost #2 comic book. I have a drawing on my wall from one of my teachers. His name is Gustav Rehberger. It's Mr. Rehberger had a really great style, very monolithic, big heroic, epic proportion characters and stuff. So I liked his work very much. So I bought a sketch that he had done. The guy on a horse. Sound is broken. Shade the Changing Man. I've got a whole bunch of shades that I bought from DA Comics. The show must go on. He has no sound on his stream. Wow. If anybody wanted if anybody wanted a post-crisis flash, if anybody wanted to read a post-crisis flash series, he's just throwing up like 25 issues of the 80s flash series right in a row. That totally gets readers like me. I like reading series comics. It's fun. So welcome back to work, Ange. I hope you said you love your job. You love the people you work with. That's so great. I'm so happy for you. Not many people can say that. So I hope you're enjoying your first day back. I hope you didn't catch COVID at work. One thing about Whatnot is they're not great at telling you what the conditions are in their comics. It's a whole box of Flash he's doing right now. So cool. And then he throws in a Doom 2099 issue. Okay, Whatnot. So I'm assuming everyone here has the first appearance of Black Cat in their collection. $80. Now that is a box. The thing is, that's the other thing is they don't pack them very well either. It's just a box of 50 books. Hmm. There's a guy named CT Maniac. I see him in almost every stream. He must be building up inventory or something because he buys pretty much everything. I see him not just on DA Comics stream, but a lot of different streams. So it looks like I'm official. I have a table at NYCC, which I believe is October 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's cool to see. I haven't been in NYCC in a long time, and the last time I was there, I was in the small press section, and I just got the feeling it did okay. I mean, it cost roughly 2 grand to get there, rent a hotel, etc. So you got to make sure you make your money back. I made my money back and maybe a little bit extra, but I got the feeling I shouldn't have been in the small press section. I think I'll do. Hopefully, I got an artist alley table this time, and we'll prove out my theory. Let's see how I do. Wish me luck. And then not this weekend coming up, but next weekend is Fan Expo Boston, which ought to be fun. Unfortunately, it's the same weekend as Terrificon, which is in Connecticut. And my best two shows of the year are Fan Expo Boston and Terrificon. So now that they're the same weekend, there goes half my income. It's a little frustrating, but I can't control it. So not much I can do about that, right? Ultraverse Freaks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody wants those. But the box is up to 85 bucks. Dying to know what was in there. I saw a bunch of Flash comics, but I didn't see if there were any keys. A lot of inkers will do the backgrounds first. A lot of inkers will sub out their gigs to artists who will specifically ink only the backgrounds. That's been happening since comic strips first started. They've been subbing out that kind of work. My first day at Valiant Comics, I saw that firsthand. I sat next to a guy named Tom. Tom was an inker, and He's actually a very good inker, in my opinion. His penciling was good too, but his figures are a little on the stiff side. I like lively, active superheroes. So what better way to learn than to ink other artists' work whose stuff is more lively than yours? So he was an inker, and Bob Layton would give Tom a bunch of pages, and Tom would ink only the backgrounds, and then Bob would come in and ink the figures. So I guess backgrounds is like the equivalent of second unit in film, right? Like you don't need Steven Spielberg to shoot an exterior shot of the Washington Memorial, right? Many people can do it and do it well. So it takes some of the workload off of Steven Spielberg, and he can focus on the more complicated shots or angles or the more important scenes in the movie where the acting has to be just right. So it is with backgrounds in comics, like the buildings and stuff like that. There are many people who can do backgrounds well, but if you have a limited time period, you get a tight deadline, you can pass some of the work on to other artists who can get some of this more less important work done. It's not as crucial to get this building just right as it is to get a main character, a woman's body or a woman's face just right. So if you have limited time restraints, you can farm out the work that's been done for ages. I would love to have someone who, because this is me penciling. This is me penciling, not thinking that I was going to ink it one day. So when I know that I'm inking my own work, the pencils are never this tight. So this was me, I don't know how many years ago now, coming up with samples uh, that I could show the editors at Marvel. And what happened was I actually got a job, an actual paying gig, and was never able to finish the samples. So these pages just kind of sit around in my files. And we got a few shows coming up. We got Boston. We've got um, hopefully a show in New Hampshire called Granite State. I usually do that show. And we got New York Comic Con in October. So I've got to have some pieces ready to try to sell. Anybody have any questions? Fire them at me. It's the free box. He's giving away a free box. It's all full of unpopular comics. Giving away a bunch of 10-cent comics over at DA. I'm giving you guys the play-by-play. I'll let you know when to go over there, pick up some great stuff. I wonder if they've ever done that here on Whatnot, like live stream another show. Oh, yeah, I'll be double masking at New York City Comic Con, that's for sure. Um, every year since COVID, even years that I did not attend, I have friends who got COVID from the show. So 100,000 people. 100,000 people walking in and out of those doors over a period of time from different areas of the country, if not the world. You know, it doesn't take much effort. Just slap a mask on just to cover your ass a little bit. I'm looking at my YouTube stream. It's quite delayed. I wonder if they're racking up commercials and stuff like that over there. So annoying. Making a piece today. Spidey Black Cat. He's hanging out at her pet house. Or is it someone else's pet house that she's robbing? Kind of hanging out at. Oh, Catwoman. I mean Black Cat. You guys like to play games? I have a game lined up if we can get 10 people in the stream for longer than 3 seconds. I will break out this game. It's called Mental Metal. There's a character behind all of these tiles. You call out two numbers from 1 to 30. I'll reveal the prizes underneath. If the prizes match, they go in your basket. And then you have the opportunity to identify the character behind all of these tiles and prizes. If you identify the character, you win that prize or those prizes, depending on how many prizes are in your basket. Hundreds of dollars worth of winnings potential. Just ask Daytona IROC, who won 240 or 280. $280 worth of stuff. I think it was 280. Uh, Good for him. Congratulations. He's our last winner. It's been a while since I've had 10 people in the room, so tell your friends about the stream. Please follow me here on the Whatnot. Follow me here on the Blue Sky. Follow me here on the Instagram. Follow me here on the YouTube. I'm here every Thursday at noon with very few exceptions. I'd say 3 exceptions in, has it been 2 years? 2.5 years? So Thursdays at noon, sometimes Wednesdays. We're going music lists today. So I'm testing out my YouTube channel because I noticed my God, my previous episodes got flagged for probably because I was playing music. So I'm trying to expand my follower base as much as I can with the least effort. I can't believe it's the end of July already. I can't believe it's Thursday already. Finished this one earlier today. Anybody interested in it, let me know. I'll run the auction for you. This is Spidey. This would be a single figure, black and white, even though it's got all of this webbing. I would normally charge for all that webbing. There's a lot of extra art there. But single figure here on Whatnot is 150. If you're interested in this guy for 150, let me know and I will list him. Let's first of all, let's make sure my stuff is up. Yeah, that could be a problem. Just noticed I don't have anything in my store. I thought I did that yesterday. Hold on. Stand by. Frustrating. Past. I would have bet hundreds of dollars that I had cloned my items for this show, but it doesn't look like they're showing up in the bin. Ains says I was watching your previous YouTube feeds and it does have the music in the background, so I don't think it blocks it. Oh, but I was getting flagged though. I got a distinct flag. I should have done a screen grab. It made me antsy. So just gonna test. I'm gonna test this one out. We'll go silent today. Okay, so here we go. I actually, it looks like I have to buy it now. I have the auction. There's the auction items. Cool. Okay, so everything's in the store except this guy. So if anybody's interested, I just finished it today. Uh, if anybody's interested in the Spidey, I'll just tape him up. Let me know, and I will create an auction for him. And opening bid will be 150, which is I have to say, with all that webbing and stuff, that's a little above and beyond. So I would say today is your last day to get him for 150. James the Creative Jr. says, "What's your real life zodiac sign?" My real life zodiac sign, it depends on the book you read. I'm July 21st, so most of the time I'm a Cancer. But there are some books that say I'm a Leo. So. I'm right on the cusp, as they say. How about you? What's your zodiac sign, Junior? James the Creative. Is that like Charlemagne the God? Are you James the Creative? Or Cedric the Entertainer? Don't forget, fresh in comic shops, new Zodiacs, Pisces, my latest book. Created the characters, wrote the stories, did the illustrations. I had some help with the coloring, but I did most of the coloring. Published it myself under my own company. It's called Astronaut Inc. That's my publishing company. There are 3 versions of the new Zodiac's Pisces. This is the most common. It's in all the comic shops, your better comic shops, I should say. This is in the bin for $10 signed. This is only available through me. This is the black Zodiac sign edition of New Zodiac's Pisces. There are only 250 of these printed. And then there's the Little Giant Comics and Collectibles foil variant, numbered from 1 to 100. Jason over at Little Giant has 1 to 50. I've got 51 to 95. So you can buy those here in the bin. New Zodiac's Pisces, about a woman named Cricket who is a abnormally high level psychic. She can communicate with the dead trapped on Earth. 52 pages, square bound spine, cardstock cover, full color interior. There are 2 stories featuring Cricket, the new Pisces, and there's a backup story featuring the Aquarius character, who is known as the Liberator. Here's the Liberator. Now, there is a new Zodiac's Aquarius comic book. I'm trying to find the. I'm not sure why I can't find copies of the regular comic shop edition. But there are 6 versions of New Zodiac's Aquarius. This is the rarest of them all. This is the D cover. There are only 100 of these in print with this image on the cover. New Zodiac's Aquarius is about a teenage hacker, calls himself the Liberator. He becomes the Robin Hood of cyberspace, who steals from the info rich and gives to the info poor. Here he is in action in cyberspace. Love this page because I don't know if you can tell, but the background is the same. So it's like he's flying around cyberspace inside this particular database. He's at different angles, but the background is the same. So I think that's cool. I don't know what you think, but I think that's badass. That's what I would call a fire feature. Here's another fire feature. Look at this, right on the page next to it. I'll show you. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. So we've got a database here, which is kind of floating in space, floating near a shadow, and then the shadow lights up. Oh, and then the little monolith database becomes a tiny black shadow shape itself in front of the lit up database. How cool is that? I don't know what you think, but I think it's very cool. Let's find another fire feature. Look at this, very next page. I just love this sequence here. He's in cyberspace. He's flying. He's in his cyberspace avatar appearance and he flies into his head. My man Benjamin jacks out. He's no longer connected to cyberspace. And so now we see him in reality. I love that little sequence. I love it. That's why I buy comics for cool shit like that. And lo and behold, I made it. Here's another fire feature, only one page away. That's actually a great drawing. Just so happens I did it. Big fan of this motif. Inspired by the Steve Ditko. You know, when Steve Ditko would draw the Spider Man, he'd draw the Spider Man half, like he'd draw Peter Parker. And when he sensed danger as Peter Parker, the Spider Man mask would kind of light up on half of his face. You guys have seen that, I'm sure. They don't use it. I don't see it a lot nowadays, but classic Ditko, classic Ramita Sr., they did that a lot. So this is a visual symbol showing that he's using his powers or he's bringing his superhero persona to bear mentally. And so this kind of sequence is a similar thought process where here he is as a civilian, he jacks in and becomes the it's a variation of this idea, the split face. Right there, another fire feature, and I'm only on page 5. So here's another fire feature, the very first execution told from 3 points of view, 3 different cameras simultaneously playing. NBD. NBD. Never been done. Another reason why I love to make my own comics is to do stuff that I've never seen before. Text plus image. Great. That's a fire feature right there. Wow, this book is good. Can you tell I like it? I like it because this is me firing on all cylinders. I really like a lot of what's going on in this book. I enjoy it. It inspires me to make more. So check out the bin. There were 6 versions of New Zodiacs Aquarius. There's the comic shop edition, which is the A cover. There's the black cover, which I showed you the black cover of the Pisces. Here's the black cover of the Pisces, and here's the black cover of Aquarius. It's kind of like a mixed finish, glossy with matte finish. So this is the Aquarius. Only 250 of these. And then there's the rarest of the rare, which I showed you before, is only 100 of these. And then there are 3 retailer variants. One for White Rabbit, one for, excuse me, one for Frozen and Carbonite, and one for the Colorado Springs Comic Con from a couple of years back. And those are all available either through those different retailers or through me. And there's only 150 of those printed. So very, very rare, a lot of this stuff. And we do have an option that I created for the bin where you can buy all 6 covers of the Aquarius for the price of 5. So check that stuff out in the bin. It's good stuff. And then share with your friends. And we have a hashtag which I like to use, which is called spread the new Z, short for new Zodiacs. I'm Aquarius, by the way. Look at that. I knew you were coming, so I created the Aquarius comic book. Shiz gas, nice. James says, how long you been doing this? Professionally? Oh, your own series. Well, new Zodiacs. I've done a few creator owned books, but new Zodiacs started in 2015. In 2015, I published 4 issues of single issues, like comics with staples, 32-page comics. And then I got distracted by a gig. I took a gig with Simon and Schuster called the Fabian Cousteau Expeditions series. And that took about 4 years to finish. There were 4 books in the series. I took the gig mainly because I thought, with Simon and Schuster behind this project, it's got to sell, it's got to generate royalties, and with those royalties, I'll continue to do New Zodiacs comics. But alas, New Zodiacs comics were outselling Simon and Schuster books by the end of the run, and that's not something that I had anticipated at all. Very disappointed in how Simon and Schuster handled the Cousteau books. So anyway, 4 years later, I'm like, oh geez, nobody's going to remember who New Zodiacs is. So I relaunched the series 2 years ago, and kind of remastered the previous material, and now I'm adding new material to the previous material. So that was a long answer. New Zodiacs Aquarius is the first in the series that I relaunched. And then Pisces came out in comic shops, I think it was in February of this year. Although I had it here much sooner than that, around October. So I'm working on Sagittarius now. Broke down the story yesterday. It was a little, what do you call, like a brain, like a brainstorm I had, and broke the story down. I had originally planned for it to be 8 pages, but it looks like this particular story, it's a B story. In other words, there's going to be 4 stories in the Sagittarius book. So there's going to be 2 stories featuring Sagittarius, and the B story was originally supposed to be 8 pages. I extended it to 11, so I did that yesterday. Just breakdowns, and then it will also have a backup story featuring the Pisces character, and another backup story featuring the Aquarius character. So I'm also reinventing the science for a modern era. As you might be able to see, the Pisces character is not related to fish at all. The Pisces, for me, the Pisces symbol is the end of the cycle. So it's the most spiritually, excuse me, the Pisces symbol is the end of the cycle. And so for me, it's the most spiritually advanced. So I ran with that and I said, let's make her convene with spirits. And so she doesn't cricket doesn't have anything to do with fish. If you look at the ancient, I'm particularly interested in the history, not just the meaning, but the history of the zodiac. Like at one point, there were no scales. The Libra sign. It was another goat, if I remember right. And then at one point there was a 13th sign. It was called Pan, based on Pan, the god in Greek mythology, and Horus in Egyptian. So for some reason there was a 13th symbol, and they call it Pan Horus. So I love that shit. So if you can imagine being in ancient Babylon or previous, and you're looking up into the stars, you're really not seeing anything that you yourself haven't projected upon it. So, in other words, people walking about in ancient times, they didn't see rocket ships, they didn't see televisions, they didn't see genes. By genes, I mean, like RNA, DNA kind of stuff. They saw a ram outside their doors, agricultural society. They saw a bull. They saw people practicing warfare. They saw archers. They saw people carrying water from the river to their various plants or for sustenance. So, a lot of the symbols of the zodiac, say all of them, reflect the personal experience of the citizenry back in the day, thousands of years ago. So today we walk outside, modern times, at least modern USA, we never see a bull, we never see archers, we never see fish unless you go vacationing somewhere. These are not things that you see by every day. So my point is that the ancient signs are outdated, and I'd like to create new signs that more accurately reflect what we see, what we think about in modern times. So, hacking and computers are something we see every day. Um, this is an ancient mystery, but in modern times, we're constantly trying to anticipate what happens to us, what happens to our estate, what happens to our soul if we have any when we die. And so I'd like to bring some of those stories to bear. And these are things I wonder about. These are things I think about. And so I want to make stories about that. So the Pisces character is the most spiritual. She knows what happens. Cricket knows after you pass. She knows where you go in quotations. And she helps those spirits trapped on earth. She delivers them. But I have other series as well. Bold Blood is like my medieval fantasy series. Um, that's about working class warriors, 13 working class warriors. They don't have royal bloodlines to protect them, they don't have magical swords or weapons, which makes their life easier. They're working class warriors. They all go out, 13 characters go out on an adventure to protect their town. and they don't all come back. And I was killing major characters long before anyone ever heard of Game of Thrones. And Bold Blood is based loosely on characters that I had created while I was playing Dungeons and Dragons. You guys played D&D here? So there was a period of time around high school-ish when we were playing a lot of D&D, and I just became so much fun. I fell in love with the characters that we were playing. Not just the ones I was playing, but I was playing with my cousin and my brother at the time, my two cousins and my brother at the time, and I loved all the characters pretty much. I have one cousin whose character is kind of obnoxious, but for the most part, I loved the characters that we had created. And so I wanted to do something with them beyond just playing role playing games. And so I created a 48, 52 page, same format as New Zodiax, square bound, 52 pages, two stories featuring these medieval characters. Love them. Give me an unlimited budget. I could do 100 issues of Bold Blood. I could do 100 issues of Bold Blood without even breathing hard. The orders came in for Bold Blood, and I really over ordered. I thought, hey, if I can sell 3,000 of these, they'll only be like $1 a piece or something like that. But I don't. I think I sold 1,200 Bold Bloods when it was first released, and I don't think I sold uh, another 1,000 cents. So I grossly overprinted Bold Blood. Boxes of them in storage, but it's still a good book. The art is still cool. 5 fire features on Bold Blood. Could we find fire features? Let's see. Let's have a look. Bold Blood is right here, isn't it? I like to share. Here we go. 5 fire features on Bold Blood. First of all, there's that cover. How cool. Very different. The logo at the bottom. So there's one. I'm looking at the cover. Starts with a very violent scene. Love this angle, this sense of chaos and horror, and this tilted angle, which leads to just extensive bloodshed. And it kicks right into this bloodshed motif, follows in the sky behind our hero, who basically, this is his call to arms right here. He's calling on the population of the town to protect the town. Let's assemble. Let's fight these characters. That's great shit. Okay, so what are we up to? Let's just call this 2. This into this into this. Let's call this that 2, that sequence. Just love this character. This character creation count. Yeah, Than Renish. Let's count it. This is 3. Than Renish, he's my magician, but he's more of a scientist. Yes, he casts spells and stuff like that, but he does it in a scientific manner. So, in other words, he solved a lot of the issues that people uh, in this time called magic. So he's kind of like a cynical magician. Love this guy. Love his costume. I actually like a lot of the characters that I created for this. Um, Oh, I like this too. Okay, let's do this. Here's the scene. Everyone who volunteered. Everyone in the town who volunteered stand before our hero, who's assembled them all. They've all volunteered to go out into the wilderness and fight goblins. And then, okay, let's meet here tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock at daybreak. And these are the only ones who actually showed up. You believe that shit? What's going on, man? Bunch of cowards. They freaking took off, left town overnight. Cowardice. I like uh, I like vertical strip strips of panels, not vertical, horizontal. But I won't count that one. So we counted the cover, we counted Renish, we counted that sequence, that's three. We counted this same shot 2 different times a day, that's great. That's four. So I only need one more. I like that scene too, but I'm not going to call it out. I like this drawing. I'm not going to call that one out though. Oh, yeah. Well, this is a cool sequence too. Oh, damn, a lot of good, cool stuff. Here's a cool sequence where oh, I don't want to give this stuff away. Well, here's a cool drawing where a dude gets bit in half. That's kind of fun. This is particularly violent and bloody. A lot of blood in this book. A lot of violence. There's Than Ranish's character sheet, my first design for him. Here's a sequence in the second story, which is actually freaking great. Nice little twist. Ah, great twist. Um, can't recommend this book enough, and I happen to have created it, wrote it, drew it, inked it, published it. Can't recommend this book enough. It's so good. A lot of nice little twists in that story, that second story, which I had forgotten about till I just saw it. So I found 5 fire features without even breathing hard in Bold Blood. If you don't toot your own horn, who's going to toot it for you, right? But it's true, though. Bold Blood is a badass comic. Since we're talking about my comics, here's the first one I ever did with Image Comics. Where'd that one go? Here it is. First comic I ever, my first creator-owned comic book. It's called Megahertz. It's about a kind of like a Frankenstein meets Terminator assassin who was created to assassinate a corporate CEO to literally eliminate the competition. This was meant to be a series, like say 50 issues plus, but at Image it only made it 3 issues, and then we had to pull the plug for financial purposes, which is a great disappointment. This is the number one variant. This was published and released only at San Diego Comic Con for 1997. It has a black cover on the back for autographs, and it has no price or number symbol. And it has world premiere issue down in the corner. The regular newsstand comic shop edition has the price and the number and does not have this. And has an ad in the back. I think it was Savage Dragon. So, so here it is. We did this in 1997. Me and my buddy uh, Dave Klistic. So, for the 25th anniversary, I decided to re-release the book the way it should have been back in '97. So I created a 25th anniversary edition. Here it is, my first Image comic. This is badass metallic foil cardstock cover, 25th anniversary edition. And the interiors are color, whereas you can see the original version was not colored. So I colored the interiors. It looks pretty great, I have to say. It's fun to revisit old materials. I don't really draw like this anymore. I kind of think like this, but I don't really draw like this anymore. So when I was coloring it, it was kind of a challenge. I felt like I had to keep the coloring fairly simple because there was a lot of line work and a lot of noisy drawing. Um, Here's the gallery, again, another section in the back where we're working out, or I'm working out character designs for megahertz. So this is some badass shit right here. So that megahertz just so happens to be the kind of like psychic. It was meant to be a parody of what the future could be like, and so it ended up being a little bit prophetic. So um, it predicted the openly corrupt showbiz president who wears makeup. If you remember the 2016 RNC convention, it looked fucking like this. I'm sorry, but it did. It didn't have USA lettering, but it was backlit, the whole deal. It looked like this. And the president, of course, wears makeup. This is 1997, folks. Predicted the celebrity CEO. I mean, Bill Gates was kind of a blip in the radar when we were creating this. So the celebrity CEO that everyone worships is Adrian Adonis. He becomes a threat to other corporations. So the other corporations get together and they create this cybernetic hulking assassin character to take out their celebrity assassins. So it predicts the assassination of CEOs, which happened late last year. Um, it also predicts the rise of VR, which we haven't quite seen yet. So stay tuned for that. Read megahertz to find out what's going to happen to you guys in real life regarding VR. So yeah, this one's a 32-page comic. Here's the original cover without the trade dress and stuff like that. The supporters, the Kickstarter supporters, and another badass drawing in the back. Foil cardstock cover. So you can get Megahertz. The 25th anniversary is $15, but we have a special offer in the bin where you can get um, the 25th anniversary edition and the original San Diego edition, middle grade, not in near mint condition, but good, nice, good condition and readable for $20 for the both. You can find that in the bin as well. So I think those are all. Did I cover all of the creator-owned stuff? I think I did. Thank you, James. James, would you like me to sign your D cover on camera? We also have COAs. Those are available in the bin if you're into that kind of thing. I also have a CGC signature series account. There we go. Very nice. You got like a community or some, you've gotten my attention for sure. Anything depicting energy, psychology, and matrix of life is my shits. Mine too, man. Matrix of life. That's a cool phrase which I haven't heard. Please do. I just did. No worries. This is the sketchbook 2025. Most of these sketches in here were done right here live on the stream. You may have seen them if you're a long-term watcher slash visitor slash customer. Some behind the scenes stuff. There's speaking of 30th anniversaries, the Planet of the Symbiotes storyline that I worked on celebrates its 30th anniversary. These are the pencils for a cover I did, which was inked by Terry Austin. If you whatnot whippersnappers don't know who Terry Austin is, he's probably one of the top three superhero inkers of all time. And I was lucky enough to have him ink my cover. Um, Here's Spidey with my character, the Liberator from New Zodiacs. So there's over 100 sketches in here. There's a cover I did for Boom Studios for one of the Power Rangers books. 100 of them printed with a white space down in here. And then, just for the heck of it, I filled the space in with remarks of various characters that spawn. So we've got a bunch of those. I'd say I have about 10 or 12 of those. If you want to look at those, let me know. I'll share them with you. Here is the same sketchbook with a variant cover. It's only 25 of these, where there was 100 of the other ones. Only 25 of these with the all white cover. This has a remark on it. What else we got in here? All kinds of fun stuff. Wolverine Epic Collection assembles the 3-issue miniseries I did with Wolverine versus Venom. So there's like 25 different books all kind of bound into this trade. I did the 3-issue miniseries called Tooth and Claw. And this is my cover. I did 3 chapters of Tooth and Claw inside. There's me right there. Ooh, sexy. Also, that's my cover. I think I said that already. And here's the Planet of the Symbiotes, which ran across the Spider-Man comics, but they Marvel kind of assembled this stuff during the height of the Venom movie craze, so they just retitled it Venom, even though the original was a Spider-Man annual. They just called it Venom. This is my cover with Terry Austin inks, and I did a chapter inside. You can find both of those in the bin, Wolverine and Venom in the bin. Happy to sign anything you buy, no extra charge. Daytona, grab megahertz. Let me sign it for you. Stand by. Let me grab you a fresh copy of the foil one, because the one that I was showing is a display. It's kind of dinged. Let me grab a copy of Megahertz foil cover, and I'll be right back. Here we go. Nice fresh. It's even got still has the protective cover on it just to prevent chipping and things like that happen to these foil covers. Oh, unlimited budget. Let's see. There'd be at least 12 issues of new Zodiacs coming out every month. I'd probably format megahertz into graphic novels, like 150-page graphic novels. There would be three of them. I have the loose storyline of megahertz, like just the overall arc of his career slash life, um, broken down into three phases. Bold Blood. I could do Bold Blood comics all day long. Let's find that Image comic. I just had it. Here we go. That comes with it. Like I said, middle grade copy. Very readable. And it's probably fun to compare the 1997 black and white edition to the 2000 and what is it, 25th anniversary, 2022 um, color edition. So it looks like I revised some of the art too. Yeah, fun to compare. Hard to do here with only two hands and a slanted table, but fun to compare for sure. And you can tell. I don't know. I think I got better. I don't know. I think I got better as an artist. This image compared to this one. I don't know. Maybe your mileage may vary, but thank you, Daytona, for picking that up. I appreciate it. How about Joe St. Pierre, aka Joe Kerr? Do you seriously want me to write that? I'll write it if you say so. Uh, Let me know. Made anything on Gemini yet? Gemini, the story is written. Let's see, we've got Sagittarius next, and then Leo, and then Aries. Leo and Aries, the storylines are so tight that I may do a flip book of Leo and Aries. Haven't decided that yet. Let me get Sagittarius done first. Let me start writing Leo, and then the stories will start to dictate how how those end up in the final product. And then Gemini is right behind them. And then who's after Gemini? Let's see. I think Cancer is after Gemini. I'm fine. Yes, good idea. But good memory that you remember the Joe Kerr story. You remember the silly things. James says Gemini could be my literal spider sense intuition, but I feel like they don't use it for Aquarius. Means, but intelligence is crazy. Let's read that again. Gemini could be my literal spider sense intuition, but I feel like they don't use it for Aquarius. Means, but intelligence is crazy. Like Gemini's intelligence is crazy, in which case I agree, and that applies to the character that I have. His name is Dusty. Um, I don't want to give too much away because Dusty is, this is my Marvel universe. So they're all connected to each other in some way. They'll all share the universe. So what one character does may impact, the life of another character, the choices they make, just like Iron Man shows up in Spider-Man comics and stuff like that and starts dating Mary Jane, that kind of stuff. Um, or Doctor Strange destroys all vampires in the Marvel universe, that kind of stuff. So I do have plans to have them interact, but the idea is to um, let's roll them out first, I guess, is what I'm kind of getting at. Let's, before you have Spider Man team up with the Fantastic Four, let's introduce Spider Man. Let's talk about what his deal is, what his skill set is, and what makes him who he is. And then we can have him visit the Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? So that's the phase I'm at right now. So Sagittarius is very, very almost directly connected to the Gemini character. So I don't want to talk too much about Gemini because it reveals Sagittarius. Um, the Leo and the Aries are, and they're pretty, they're pretty connected. So, like I said, I'm kind of thinking of doing a flip book, and that'll help me roll out the characters faster too, right? If I do two in one book, because I gotta ideally, I'm gonna do at least 12, right? One for each sign of the zodiac. So, if I do a flip book or two, that'll help cross off those dozen faster. We got a ways to go. Let me get Sagittarius taken care of because I'm starting to feel overwhelmed already with the workload. One project at a time. But with an unlimited budget, I could hire people. I could pencil one or one and a half books. I could write another one and a half books. I could hire some of my favorite artists and writers to take care of other characters. Um, Allow me to focus on some of the other ones that I like best. But we're not there yet. We're still very DIY here at Joe's household. Um, that's why I'm here on Whatnot, selling my wares instead of hiring somebody else to sell my wares. But who else can toot your horn better than you can? Toot your horn right here in the stream if you have anything. Are you an artist yourself? What's the name of your project? What do you do well, even if it's not creative? What do you do well that others may not know? Let people know in stream. Oh, you want to do 5 fire features with megahertz? I didn't do that. I did 5 fire features with the Pisces book. I did 5 fire features with Aquarius. I didn't do 5 fire features with megahertz. Let's do that. Where are you, megahertz? Well, a lot of times, if I'm lucky, the cover is the first fire feature, and this is a pretty friggin' badass cover, I have to say. And didn't know the texture brush back in the old days. of Photoshop. I used to have my friend Mike color my stuff, but I discovered the texture brush since 1997, and it totally works on megahertz. Like his skin, he's like Frankenstein, right? So he's made out of he's an amalgam of multiple bodies and genetic reconstruction and stuff like that. So his skin is like nasty as shit, right? So that's first fire feature, megahertz number one. Let's see. Let's see. Well, this is the prediction. Like I said, the RNC convention 2016. This is just, it's a great page, not just the scene and the psychic or the prophetic nature of it, but the whole page is pretty cool. So that's two. The creation of the Liberators, which I have renamed for this book. You'll see they're called the Liberators in the Image comic, but these characters, which I call the Warheads, are basically his cybernetic army. They're all hackers, super hackers, and stuff like that. So this super hacker idea just took on a life of its own over the years beyond megahertz. And that led to the Aquarius character who calls himself the Liberator. You know, the idea of the corporate hacker started here in megahertz and just exploded for me. Whoa. Never mind. I thought I saw a mistake, but it's not a mistake. Oh yeah, one thing that I liked, I love the coloring on these two panels. I won't call that a fire feature, but here's a fire feature. In the future, um, community service will be, well, the law enforcement will be a community service function. So if you committed a crime yourself of some kind, you will be forced to serve in the police department. It's community service, a form of not of punishment, but of correction. And that hasn't been done yet. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. So far, I'm 3 for 5. We haven't seen the results of VR yet, but we will, and we'll see that the police forces will be a form of correction in the future. Um, that's going to be my. Is that 4? That's my 4th fire feature, and then I only need one more. Well, this last page. Gotta say the last page. The last page is super symbolic, and if you read the story, um, it has more of an effect. But it's basically our boy, our hero, going out into the world, out a window from 300 stories high or 200 stories high. So he's kind of jumping out into the rotating world, and I love that. Love the symbolism of that. So that's 5 fire features for megahertz. That was easy. Can I do 5 fire features in Wolverine? See, it's harder as we go back in my career. It gets harder because I don't like the work as much. Well, here, let's do this one. 5 fire features, Planet of the Symbiotes, the cover. Cover rocks. The end. Let's find my chapter. I don't want to do 5 fire features of someone else's art. Is that the original color scheme? I guess. I didn't draw these 2 panels. It was adjusted. Yeah, you can already see, like, it was inked by someone else, and I can already see that I don't care for the inking. I can already see that I don't like the coloring. Nobody has white eyes, by the way. Just make a note of that. It's one of my pet peeves. White eyes work for coloring, for storytelling purposes, and for focus. So the idea that Spidey's eyes are white here is good because your eye is drawn to this small head above all this image. Your eyes go right there because it's the only truly white section. So if that's a conscious choice by the colorist, I say bravo. I'm not sure why this leg is white though, but let's pretend that's blue. I say here's our first fire feature, the coloring on this page, and the overall fun montagey design is kind of fun. That's a cool drawing of Spidey. So that's two. This was the first thing I thought of when I considered doing 5 fire features in Planet of the Symbiotes. Was this shot right here? I know it's not the most exciting pinup shot, but if you it's an establishing shot, but there's action inside each window. So in other words, here come the guards in this window. Here comes an attendant who's called the guards, who's saying we're having a problem here, and then here's the problem in the third window, which is the cell door for Cletus Cassidy, aka um, what's his name, Carnage. So this is great thinking. So this is what's this, fire feature number 4. So this is great thinking, i.e., this is how I like to tell story. And then we're looking for one more fire feature. Not a fire feature, but I do like when Spidey is drawn from a certain distance, that you don't draw the webs and you just draw for to simplify, to make things most readable. You blow out the webs and just keep the red as solid, and I like that choice. Let's see. I'm going to go with this. There's a couple things. I mean, this isn't a bad drawing. I remember selling this for quite a bit of money, this page. But as far as fire features, things that I like, storytelling wise, I like this. Here's Scarlet Spider. He's jumping behind from behind this particular symbiote creature, but they're symbiotes, right? They're aliens. What makes them different from other humans is their eyes can literally go to the back of their head, and so does their mouth. So the entire face kind of oozed around to the back of his head, so that he got caught. Scarlet got caught. There he is. So I like that sequence. So I'm going to call that my number 5. I've done a whole bunch of fire features today. Thank you for listening. It's good practice because I would love to do this on the regular as like a YouTube TV show. You think it would make an interesting TV show or an interesting YouTube podcast? I'll just grab any comics, or you guys can choose what comics to do it to, and I'll find 5 fire features with each book. Oh yeah, no worries. My sister's a Gemini, so I was curious. Exactly yourself. Rip, rippling texture. Yes. West Coast in the house. Morning, afternoon, goat and chat. What do we have here? We're working on an old black cat pinup that I'm goosing up. And we're talking about new Zodiax comics. Have you read yours yet? goat maker. I'm looking to start a little, I guess you'd call it a podcast or some kind of little video feature that I can put on TikTok and YouTube. Here's my YouTube account. Here's my Instagram account. Follow me there. Here's my Blue Sky account. So I'm looking to do like, I don't know, like a 4-minute video. And I'm picking comics and some of my favorite comics. And I'm finding 5 things about them that I like. And it's meant to share my love for the comic book medium. So I call it 5 Fire Features. Nice. Would look killer on my wall. Yes, it would. It would certainly look good on my wall. We finished this guy finally too, but oh, this one started in, I'm actually seeing the actual date. I actually finished the pencils on in 2011. So that was I don't know if it was the last time I was looking for work at Marvel, but it was the last time I decided to create s- actual pages like samples for Marvel Comics. And I got work not too long after I did this page, so I didn't get a chance to do any more pages to show to Marvel. So this page has been sitting around for over a decade. I thought it might be fun to mess around with it. Bring it with me to New York Comic Con or Boston. Do you have a show coming up, Rolo? Let us know. Give yourself a plug. Rolo's a VIP in the house right here, man. Show him some love. Let's give Rolo some applause. Is this a published page? This is not a published page. This page here, I'm probably going to ask 700 for this page. This one here is a single figure. You know the single figures, they go for 150. But there's a lot of webs on that one. I might charge a little bit more for that after today. We just finished it today before the stream started. We did the math yesterday. Um, Single figure here on the stream is 150. Additional figure is 100. Background is 100. So that was like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 350 twice up becomes 700. And when you see me at shows, this will be 750 or 800. I haven't decided yet. Let's see how good it looks. I'm seeing a cloudy sky in the background, like an old school evening night sky, New York City night sky, where the clouds are low and they're lit from underneath. Um, so that might make it an $800 piece. James says, because I've been involved with an underground Spider-Man production. Fire features coming from you. It's awesome notes. Oh, cool. Thank you for the feedback. I'm going to screen grab that. And thanks. I know you guys didn't plan on it or ask for it, but it was fun to kind of practice the fire features uh, exercise here today. So thanks for letting me do that. I know it, I know you didn't know I was thinking about it, so, but it was good practice. I got good practice today. So when I actually shoot the videos, I'll uh, I'll be in shape for it. I've been meaning to do the features for quite a while too, almost a year, if not more. But I'm gonna do it. Did Rolo blow out already? He didn't even plug himself. Oh well. Follow Rolo. He's West Coast Rolo. He has a stream too. He sells stuff. I tried selling comics here for like $2 start. I guess I'm over it. I got tired already. I don't know how people make money here with $2 starts or dollar starts. What am I talking about? There's some dealers that do dollar starts. What's an underground Spider-Man production? Is that a movie? Like a fan fiction kind of movie? How cool is it now that you can actually shoot your own movies at home, like literally, like not just Super 8 stuff, but like actual professional looking movies. So cool. A lot of BGs today. A commission for Fan Expo Boston next weekend too. We gotta get that done. Gotta draw Hydro Man. You guys know who Hydro Man is? He's a Spider-Man villain. He's on Hydro Man. I put him on my Mega Spidey piece, didn't I? That is not Spider-Man. That's not Spider-Man. Here's Spider-Man. Where's Hydro Man? I would have bet all my money that I put Hydro Man in here. And I would have bet all my money that he would be near or next to the Sandman. I see Leapfrog or Frogman. I see the Lizard. Tombstone. That's so weird. I'm having a brain fart, I guess. I would have bet all my money that I had Hydro Man in here, and I thought his water fluid was going up this way, but I must be crossing him with the Sandman. Oh, there he is. He looks a little like Aunt May, but he's in fluid shape, and here's the fluid running down behind the Green Goblin, behind Dr. Octopus, behind the Lizard, and it looks like this is him here, and then down behind the Shocker's fist. So that's Hydro Man. I thought he would be easier to find, but I guess not. He looks a little like Aunt May. I might have to adjust that. Good times. Anybody interested in Spidey with webs? If yes, let me know. I will launch a very special auction for this piece. Starts at $150 today only, because he's got all this extra web stuff going on. I'll probably charge more for this in the future, because probably at least 25 more. So let me know if you're interested in that. We've also got Rogue and Gambit. $275 is the convention price. It's $225 here. You can find it in the bin. Item number. This is item begins with 200. There she is. 203 is Rogue and Gambit. 225 single figure 150. Throwing in Gambit for 50. And then this is on a special Unknown Comics X-Men comic, and those are pricey, so I'm adding 25 to that. So it's 225 here on Whatnot only. I'll tape them up too. $225 on Whatnot. 275 at conventions. James says, I overspent a bit paying for some rare spider comics I'd never seen before. I should have asked about the shop sooner. Definitely incredible and worth it. How did you overspend? What did you buy? I need details. Are these back issues like Silver Age kind of comics? I like this little hand. I forgot where I got this scene from. I was probably following a script, but I like this little hand in the pool. You know, somebody got fresh with a black cat and she tossed him in the pool. Joe, you're looking forward to Fan Expo? I am. Are you going? I would have thought you would go to Terrificon since it's in your neighborhood. But yes, I am looking forward to it. I'm at Terrificon. Yes, that I thought so. They both have a quite a selection of guests, that's for sure. I know Fan Expo has Capullo and Snyder, but Terrificon, they were at Terrificon last year, right? Capullo and Snyder. So I find that interesting. I think Joe Quesada is going to be at Fan Expo also. I remember Joe Quesada before he became a big shot who he is. He and I had lunch once. He was a rising star in comics in the 90s. And we both worked at Valiant at the same time. He was working on EXO, I think, Special EXO, and he co created Ninjak. And so we kind of hung out. We had lunch. He took me back to his apartment and showed me his like studio and stuff like that. It was kind of funny. It was New York City, space is premium. So he had, I think, I don't think it was a bed loft, but he had a loft above his drawing table. I think it had like storage, like supplies and stuff like that. But it was really a tight squeeze apartment. I remember that pretty well. But very nice guy. Fan Expo has more comic guests. Fan Expo is Frank Miller. Oh shit, I missed that. And Klaus. Oh, I missed that completely. Holy cow! How could he miss that? Wow, that's badass. Nice to see Klaus getting props, not just Frank. That's so cool. You've seen the, if you ever saw the layouts that Frank was giving Klaus back in the Daredevil days, that was pretty, that was pretty sparse stuff, if I remember right. I got a Someplace Strange titled Spider book, and just a few I've been eyeballing. Can't give away info about all my resources, tweaking animation. Okay. Oh, you're working, so your piece is animated. That's kind of cool. I took an animated animation class in college and came to a realization very quickly that that shit wasn't for me. Do 100 drawings for 3 seconds worth of animation. Oh my God. I didn't have the patience for it. Did not have the patience to draw so many drawings. I just felt like it was such a little small reward for all that work. But I used to work with people at MTV Animation, and they were ex Disney animators, and they had they had like a certain they had divided the floor into like different departments, coloring and storyboards and revisions and cleanup and script, that kind of stuff. And so the animators were all in one little section, little cubicle, and play they would play these Disney movies that they worked on, and they would say, "Oh yeah, I did that sequence right there," and it would be like 6 seconds in an hour and a half movie. I'm like, dude, you're so proud of your 6 seconds. That would drive me bananas. But you got to be cut from the cloth, right? Me, I guess I'm more of a writer. I like to tell complete stories. I don't just like to do like one 6 second segment of a story. Did not enjoy drawing multiple drawings for that small amount of work. There's a case where I was going to say AI may be useful, but AI doesn't. I'm sure AI wouldn't be able to animate the life that those classic animators did. How they exaggerated uh, gestures and stuff to create a believable motion. But just like some inkers had assistants who would do backgrounds for them, so animators do, right? They have the key animator who does the key poses, and then they have the other artists who will draw those poses in betweeners. Between the A pose and the B pose, you need to come up with 3 to 6 drawings. So those are the in between artists. Books feed into an antimatter Afro Spider-Man lore that can feel frequency through the lifestyle of music, still somewhat in a research phase. Tech of matrix glasses. Books feed into an antimatter. Interesting. Definitely have to defy logic with time crunching constraints. Made a custom algorithm for convenience to refine later. Interesting. AI kind of can set you back, but it can handle some gaps. Yeah, I agree. As I was talking about it, I was rethinking it on the spot. When you look at some of those classic animators, how they conveyed motion and impact. It's not realistic. Mm, 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 mm. No more tears. Stand by, I gotta do this email. This is not good for, this is dead air. I have an opportunity. I gotta do a little mini lecture slash workshop next week in Boston, so I had to work out the details. We're going silent today because I got flagged. We're simulcasting on YouTube, and I got flagged for some of the music I was playing. Um, so I'm just experimenting. We're trying to. Angel 21 says you can still see my streams on eBay or on YouTube rather, but I'm just experimenting to see if the silent streams get more attention or less attention than the ones with music, or less attention, even though they're flagged. I guess it could still be popular, right? It's like those warning labels they used to put on CDs and tapes because they were swearing and stuff. And a lot of times that would generate more sales. I got to hear more about this animated Spider-Man thing. Afro Spider-Man. Who's the villain? We have another gentleman, VIP Ainge 21, who has a Spider-Man related character called the celestial weaver, who's a healer. He's like this cosmic Spider-Man. Quite a rainstorm today. I guess that means I'm not going for a walk later. Miss Mayhem in the house. I remember those warnings when they came out. Yes. Bring an umbrella. I guess I could walk with an umbrella, couldn't I? What a concept. What I usually do on my walk is I'll stop off. There's a little park. I'll stop off on the little park, and it's got a like a picnic table. This metal picnic table, which is kind of like bolted into the slab, concrete slab, and I'll usually head over to the picnic table and do some crunches off the picnic table, do some push-ups off the picnic table. So I won't be doing that today with a wet picnic table. And about a month ago, a tree actually fell onto the picnic table. So the picnic table is like it's, it's not level anymore. Let's put it that way. Picnic table is not level. You've got to eat at an angle. Good times. And also, it's got some bird droppings on it in key areas where I used to park my butt to do the crunches. So you got to work around the awkward bent shape of the picnic table and the bird droppings. So a little rain that shouldn't. Just if I can do that, a little rain won't shake me up. Definitely have to defy logic with time crunching constraints. Made a custom algorithm. I think I read that. Yeah, I read that one. We used to say in the army, if it ain't raining, we ain't training. Yes, I thought of that. I thought of that when you commented. I was like, you probably they probably send you out extra long in the military when it's raining, right? You got to be swimming in 3 inches of mud in order to get proper training. Let's do this. Don't like that tangent. Problem solved. Let's see. You guys know what a tangent is, right? That's when two objects when two objects touch when they shouldn't. So let's say this guy's in the background and this person in the foreground. Because this line touches this line, it looks like the two are together like this. That's no good. That's bad storytelling, folks. So one way to solve that problem would be run the shape behind the head like that. Or separating them, that helps too. James says, been a drawing artist. I see it. I can replicate from birth. 8-year-old musician started on mobile sound designing and a videographer. It always seems when it comes to training, it always rains. James says, since Spider-Man is a concept of my music and spirituality, like D&D, it's easier to put together. Interesting. Daytona says, I've been in the rain so long, my gear designed to be waterproof wasn't waterproof anymore. Holy cow. That's a lot of water. How, how does water break down waterproofing? Interesting idea. Daytona says, adverse weather conditions just made the task more challenging and rewarding. I bet. Also, I imagine if you're on a mission and you have to take out the enemy, what better way to do it than really bad weather? Because it's a distracting just by its nature, and also it's kind of like are people become miserable and they're distracted by the weather. So a good time to make your attack, I bet. So you got to be prepared for that stuff. I have no idea what I'm talking about, by the way. The closest I got to the army was my high school guidance counselor told me that when I told him I wanted to become an artist, especially a comic book artist, he said he had a Boston accent, heavy Boston accent. He said, "Art is too competitive. You should join the army." And that's the closest I got to joining the army. Most of the time I say, "Fuck that guidance counselor," but sometimes I think about it, and I think of, a lot of friends I have who are in the military are really well. I guess disciplined is the word, but they're really good managers of time and stuff like that. I'm not sure I'm a good manager of time. So, maybe if sometimes I think, 2% of the time, I think, oh, if I had gone into the army, I might be a better organized person. But my common sense says I probably wouldn't last 15 minutes in the army. I'm that guy who's like, "Why? Why do you want me to go over there?" It's I ask too many questions. It doesn't make sense to go over that hill. What do you want me to go over that hill for? Daytona says you are close, but weather conditions can also hamper you. That's true. That's true too. My sibling is a military person. For sure, it's the structure. Everybody always says I couldn't do it, but never tried it. Yeah, I never tried it. I admit it. But I knew a lot of people in the military who were into comics too. I used to get letters when I was at Valiant, like military dudes, and they had read my comics and stuff. It's interesting. you get bored, you need something to read. James says, I'm an ex wrestler. I had military trainers at my school. It was a mindset shift with different approaches and activities. Intimidation is for sure. Where I was at, there was only an English TV station, says Daytona. Man, I want to start tracking down the military comic books we had all over the place. Yeah, they pop up here on Whatnot. I'm surprised how many military comics pop up. There may be, there may be some kind of trend ascending in military comics or something. At least here on Whatnot, I see them a lot, and they tend to go for decent money too. Um, I guess superhero comics can only accrue in value so fast, but some of these lesser genres like war comics and what else was I looking at? Oh, the horror comics like 70s horror like DC, Witching Hour and stuff like that. They're starting to really pop in value. So books like GI Combat, Sergeant Rock, Our Fighting Forces, um, really fascinated by World War I. Also, I'm fascinated more than I'm just puzzled by the whole behavior. Like, like seeing a good portion of Europe, like just dug up into trenches and then advancing. Just the fighting style back then. I just don't understand why they fought the way they did, and then of course World War I is where you first start getting uh, you know, aerial fights and stuff like that, and then I actually got interested through reading DC war comics. There's a character called Enemy Ace, who's actually a German soldier who was a pilot, and he flew in these biplanes, and he was called the Hammer from Hell, I think. Uh, just it just the comics got me interested in the reality, and it's like what these guys were flying back in the day. They were essentially motorized kites. They were made just wooden frames made out of stretched canvas, and they go up in the air and they're like shooting each other with machine guns and stuff like that. And the propellers had to be specifically timed so that a bullet could pass through the spinning propeller so it wouldn't hit the blade of the propeller. I can't imagine how you do that. Fascinating stuff all across the board. World War I. Don't know enough about it, but everything I hear about World War I makes me go, "Why did you fight like that? Why are you digging trenches and fighting, gaining, just advancing from one trench to the next?" I didn't understand any of that. Like, there must be a better way to fight if you had to, do that. I don't know. It's like back before the Revolutionary War, they used to fight two armies facing off, right? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can't see that. So two lines of soldiers are standing there shooting at each other. I can't think of anything more silly. Dude, hide behind a tree. these fuckers get a beam on you. Come on, man. But once again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I did read somewhere that the U.S. colonial soldiers were some of the first to practice what they call guerrilla warfare, which would be, yeah, you don't face off against an army. You hide in the forests and wait till they march through a certain point, and then you attack them from cover. That makes a lot more sense to me than standing there shooting at each other. I'm going to move these, but if anybody's interested in Rogan Gambit for 225, check out the bin. I think it's item 203. You get $50 off today. And this guy, I haven't created an item for this guy yet, but he'd be 150 today. He's going to be 175 after today. And if you were to meet me in at a convention or a signing, he would be at least 200. So if you're interested in either of these, or if you want to see some more sketches besides this one, which I've been working on the last couple hours, let me know. I'll share some other sketches with you. I'm starting to accrue a nice little portfolio that I hope to sell. If not here, you can always grab them here on the stream. But if not here, then at Fan Expo Boston or New York Comic Con if we have to go that far. Yeah, I booked my hotel. I booked my car. I got to rent a car to get there. 2 G's, man, just to walk in the door at New York Comic Con. So I hope I make some money there. I would hate to just break even. That's so not cool. I remember I did what was it called? Baltimore. Is it just Baltimore Comic Con? Um, I guess the guys that run the show didn't know me or my career or anything like that, so they put me on the exact opposite side of the room. Put me on the exact opposite side of the floor from the artist alley, like all the big name artists and stuff. I did okay, but it cost me. I flew in. I had to pay my hotel and airfare, and after all of that, after the show was over, while the show was going, people were like, "What are you doing here, over in outer space?" And I'm like, I don't know. Ask the people that run the show. Um, so once again, I think location is means a lot, especially at Baltimore and especially in New York. Um, so I think after all worked out, after all my expenses and stuff like that from Baltimore, I think I made like 300 bucks. It was like it made me really question, is it worth it for me to do all that for me to do all that work, spend all that time on a weekend when I could stay at home for that weekend and create $300 worth of sales, you know, either here on Whatnot or just creating pieces like this one right here that I would sell at another show for the same amount of money. It's so I won't do probably won't do Baltimore again. I was really disappointed. I did go up to one of the guys, forgot his name, and I was like, I'm a contemporary with all these other people in Artist Alley. You know, do you have a table over there? Nope. And even if I did, it'd be 1,500. And I'm like, okay, well, let's talk. Do you have a table available for 1,500? No. Okay, so that's that. So I shan't be returning to Baltimore anytime soon. But the Fan Expo guys, they treat me well. Set me up at Denver, Colorado last year. That was a great show. Did very well. And if you're in the if you're an artist and you're in Artist Alley, um, you're halfway there. You know what I mean? It's like you got the location now. You know Now you just need the art that attracts people. So I've been lucky that way the last couple of years that you put me in the right spot, and even if people aren't familiar with my name, they'll respond to my artwork. And so it's all about location, location, location. Which reminds me, I got to hit up Rhode Island Comic Con too. They usually give me a very nice spot, and Rhode Island Comic Con I usually associate with that show because it's very, very heavy on celebrities, and they promote the hell out of the celebrities, and not so much the comic artists or the creators. So that's fine. You still navigate that kind of scene if you know how to work it. So my approach was always like, okay, they'll drop 500 bucks on a Deadpool, a dog pool signature or a Michael J. Fox signature, no problem there. But maybe they get 20 bucks left over to buy a print or a comic book or something like that. And the last 2 or 3 years, holy shit, people buying comics, people buying art, original sketches, pages. Um, so impressive. Things have changed. So I'd love to get back into Rhode Island. That would be great. That's usually when is Rhode Island this year? November 7th through 9th. So New York is October 9th through 12th, and Rhode Island is November 7th through 9th, almost a month later. So, yeah, I'd love to get into Rhode Island again. That would be fun. These comics were about weapons, cleaning, maintenance, and tactics. Oh, cool. Will Eisner used to do that back in the Second World War. He used to make those kind of comics, instructional comics. P.S. Magazine. Oh, that's cool. I'll have to look that up. Thank you for sharing the link. Let's have a look at it. Preventive Maintenance Monthly. Yeah, there's an Eisner cover. Oh, son of a booger. There it is right there. Premier issue. So yeah, Eisner, he was my teacher in at SVA. He did a lot of those instructional comics. Are you looking for comics specific to when you were there, or are you just a collector in general? Yes. Now it's time to start. These are not straight lines. These are starting to arch. This could be a problem. Or not. Or yes. Bazaar on war being the make of many new products and huge markets. James says, yes, you should have been next to them. I would hate to pass a group of artists and come across you last because you're somewhere distant. Yeah, it didn't make any sense. There are some I read so much I'd like to get them. Yeah, I thought you'd probably like to get copies of the books that you had personally uh, been influenced by, right? Yeah, don't get me started on Baltimore. People love that show too. Another show that's tough to navigate is Heroes Con, which is a fan favorite for artists. It's very art centric. It's not just comics, but almost specifically comic artists centric. But the last time I was there, I didn't have anything to. I didn't have any products like I do now, so I've been meaning to get back to Heroes Con, see how I would do. But it's very intimidating when you've got so many great artists there. But it'd be similar. I imagine it'd be a similar experience, to say Rhode Island. Rhode Island is a show where it's very comic or celebrity centric, actor centric, even voice actors get more play, more promotion. Um, and then you get some of the extra money that some of the attendees might have because you're a comic artist and you draw well, or you created an image that catches someone's eye. So it might be for me in at the Heroes Con where they drop 4 grand on Frank Cho or Art Adams or Adam Hughes or somebody, some huge name like that, and then maybe they've got a few extra bucks for browsing. I think I might be able to catch some of those eyes. I haven't been to Heroes Con in a long time, 20 years, maybe more. I met Shelton again for last year at Terrificon. He was talking with Bob McLeod. I consider Bob my friend. I hope he does too. He's such a nice guy. So Bob and his wife Lucy, very sweet people, really great. So Bob is talking to Shelton, and he invited me. He said, "Yeah, you should come down. You should come down." And I told him I was like so intimidated by like I said, the, all these historically great artists that you got to compete with. I ought to give it a shot though. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been there in a long time, so it might be fun to try. Maybe next year. It's usually Father's Day weekend. That's June, right? So maybe next June, give it a shot. I can ask Bob too. Bob's an icon, co-creator of the New Mutants, right? Bob McLeod. So, Bob can go anywhere and rake in the cash. So I'd be curious to see what he thought about me going down there. I'll have to check in with him. I'm going to probably pack up soon. It's 3 o'clock. So, anybody have any questions, concerns, comments? I'm going to blow out soon. Thanks to everybody who stopped by. Appreciate it. Very special thanks to James and Daytona, VIPs of the stream today. Appreciate it very much. Thank you for your business. I hope you enjoy the comics as much as I enjoy talking about them. New Zodiax comics for sale right here in the bin. Happy to sign anything you buy here in the store, no extra charge. One of the benefits of the whatnot is that you get your signatures for free and you get a discount because I get to work at home, the comfort of my own home, and sell stuff. So feel free to take advantage of that because if you see me at a show, my prices are a little bit higher for a lot of my stuff. I look forward to comparing the two comics. Yes. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'm going to run this for the last 5 minutes of the show, see what happens. This will be the last time it's available for 150. Let me make an auction. Let me make Ultimate Spidey. There he is. Okay, great. So I'm just going to do a 5-minute auction, no pressure. Just going to let it run while I'm working on Black Cat. So we've got a lovely Spidey auction. Check it out, just finished today. This guy's going to be 175 next time you see him, so because it's got all this web action going on here. There's a lot of webbing. That took me a while to draw, especially compared to this other guy here. I could always add more webs to him, but where'd he go? Yeah, there's a lot more web action and stuff on this guy than this guy. Although I could keep adding to this guy to raise value on him. But if this guy's 150 here on the stream, this guy, I don't know, feels like he should be a little bit more. Just a bit, just a tick. That other piece, I just woke up with that pose in my head and I was like, I got to do a drawing of this pose just to see what happens. And I did it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a cool angle. Don't see this angle much. You don't really see this angle too much either. The web's coming at you. So I try to make every Spidey drawing a little bit different. This one's different than this one. That is awesome, says Un. Thank you, Un. Welcome back to the stream. Un, VIP Un in the house. What the hell is that? Oh, 15 seconds left already. Grab this Spidey while you can. Next time you see him, he will be 175, which is still a deal, but not as good as the deal you have now. Un is winning. Congratulations, Un. And thank you so much, Un. You popped right in just at the right time. That is awesome. Thank you, buddy. Should we run any of these? Let me know if any of these floats your boat. Here is a Dr. Doom headshot. Here is this is 100 here in the stream. The 150 is my convention sign. I did a signing last weekend. Can't believe it's last weekend already. Mid Main Comics and Toy Show. And that's where these stickers come from. I put them up there. 1 second, because I'm going to run out of juice any second here. Please stand by. Please stand by. Please stand by. There we go. So yeah, so I put these little post-its up. These are for convention. When I stand them up at the table for convention purposes. This guy's only $100 here. Let's see. Here's Spidey with about 30 villains. This one's 450 here. Anything floats your boat, just say run Spidey, run Doom. This one here is 150. This is the pose that I woke up with. I had a dream or I woke up with this pose in my head and I'm like, what if we tried this? I don't think I've ever drawn Spidey in this particular pose. So again, it was 150. This one's 225. This is Rogue with Gambit. This one is Batman Hush, what I call a jam piece starter upper. What you do is you get some of your favorite artists. You take this book to a convention. You get some of your favorite artists to draw characters inside these little cells that I designed, these spaces. That way it looks like it was meant to be that way. The design is predetermined and people work within the design. And we've got Daredevil. Daredevil, again, this is convention price. It's $100 here. If anybody likes Daredevil, just text run DD. Let's see. Can I get a COA with that sketch, please? And was that signed? I can officially sign it, but let me show it to you. Hold on. This is the signature, which I usually include in the illustration, but if you want me to, like, say, sign it across here in silver or something like that, I can do it for you. The COAs are in the Buy It Now section. I believe they're in the 100s. Let me check for you. Where are the COAs? What's going on here? Oh, I see. That's a black cover. That's why. So why is this a blank space? Okay, black cover. That's why. So I don't see any CO. There they are. Item 080 is a COA in the bin. $5, and happy to sign it. So yeah. So if you want something, in other words, other than the illustration signature, I can sign it down in here. I can sign it here, whatever you like an official signature as opposed to the illustration signature. Let's see what else we got. We've got Spidey 2099 versus Pack Rat, character I've created in my days working on Spidey 2099. Here's Doom, full figure is 150. Here's a Spidey starter upper. This is 150. Cyclops. I think his name is Cyclops. That belongs to Daytona IROC. Let's see. Only 25 of the sketchbooks printed with a blank cover. This is remarked, so I'm asking 50 for this, which is the price of the book itself, not the remark. So you're kind of getting a free remark. Same with this. I'm asking 30 bucks for the regular sketchbook. This is 29 of 100. I'm asking 30 bucks for this guy. There's a Spawn remark there. If you like, let me know. I'll run the auction. Is a Wolverine number 30 of 100. Spidey. So far, my favorite Spidey of the remarks, 28 of 100. A remark in color here on the stream is 60 bucks. If you get it at a convention, 70 bucks for a remark at a convention. So you're getting sketch covers. You're getting sketchbook remarks for free. You're getting the remark for free, essentially. Deadpool. Wolverine. Wolverine is 125 here, I think. Let me check. It's another one where I added this extra stuff, and it's more than I usually charge for it. Okay, yeah, so this guy would be 125. Let me grab a COA for Un. 1 second. So, Un, tell me. Am I signing this again, like perhaps along the side here, or is this good enough? Let me know, please. And in the meantime, I'll fill out your COA. Let's see the signature. $731.25. No, on the web sig is perfect. I just could not find it when you were showing it. I didn't know there was a Spider-Man day. Is there a Spider-Man day? I didn't know that either. So there's your COA. Thank you so much. On you're a VIP on the stream, and I appreciate you visiting. Very cool. Any other questions or comments? Tomorrow is Spider-Man Day, huh? What's special about August 1st? Perfect add to my collection of yours. Yes, you're building quite a collection. We're gonna finish this guy up at some point. Let's see. Anything else? I can stick around a little bit more, 15 more minutes. Close it. I like to close it off. Guess I have OCD. I like to close it off on the half hours. We have a shadow down here somewhere. I've been forgetting that I have a YouTube stream this whole time. That's all good. No one has visited. No one's chimed in on my YouTube stream, but I got some practice today on my 5 fire features, and I'm going to break those out on YouTube any day now. Any day now. Don't forget to tell your friends about the stream too, because when we get 10 people in the room, I like to give away prizes by playing our game, Mental Metal. So don't forget to share with your friends. Don't forget to have them pop in Thursdays at noon. We get some badass stuff here. I'm also a writer, not just an artist. It would be cool to if you could do writing, like a live stream writing, writing um, stream where I'm just writing. I wonder what that would be like. I don't know. When I'm writing, I need quiet. I need absolute silence. I can't have conversations with people, or I can't have music playing when I'm writing. We'll save the large shapes for last. The large black shapes. As you guys probably remember, I don't usually pencil this tightly. Look, I even colored in all this stuff. Um, this page was done, geez, 2011, and it was meant as part of a portfolio of pages to try to get a Spider-Man gig at Marvel. And it just so happens that I think I only did this one page, maybe another one. I can think of one other page I did. Um, but I got work very shortly after I started the portfolio. I actually got a paying gig, so I had to take that. And so I recently found this page. This was just in a pile of other stuff. And I thought, maybe we can make some hay out of this and make it into a pinup or something, or maybe a print. And so I'm just messing around with it. So when you're doing pencil samples that you don't really intend to ink, those are the times when I will color in the black shapes and stuff like that. But because when I know I'm inking something, one second. When I know I'm inking something, I usually like to leave a lot of the drawing uh, for the for the inking. So essentially, I'm doing penciling with a pen because you can lose a lot of the energy. I can lose a lot of my energy in the drawing. Um, in the penciling phase. So the idea of penciling and inking something which looks exactly the same, the idea of penciling something so tight that when I'm inking, it would only look exactly the way I penciled it. That's very boring to me. Like I said, I'm a comic book artist. Like I said earlier about animating, the idea of doing 6 drawings per second, or 60 drawings per second, or whatever it is, uh, just just to get like a brief little snippet of animation that doesn't that doesn't appeal to me. I like to tell whole stories. So the idea of penciling and then inking the same exact picture and then coloring the same exact picture, you can see how that it kind of slows me down from creating the whole stories. Ideally, I'll pencil in the future with an unlimited budget. I would pencil and write a story and then pass it on to an inker and then pass it on to a colorist and stuff like that. Um, in the meantime, I just try to make this drawing process happen as fast as possible by just breaking down the drawing with pencil, which is the opposite of this, and just breaking it down and then starting to draw with a pen. Ideally, that would save time for me. I'll show you an example of that maybe next week. I'm working on Sagittarius story, and I literally just broke down the beats on the pages, so I know what's going on them, but I haven't even hardly drawn anything yet. I've just kind of broken down shapes, like the shape of the panel and stuff like that. So maybe next week I'll have a page when I could show you how I usually pencil when I know I'm inking my own stuff. Cool, 3:30. Any last comments or questions? I've satisfied my OCD and I've hit the half hour mark. So cool. If there's no other questions, thanks to everybody who showed up today. I appreciate it very, very much. It's fun. I had a good time. Got some Five Fire features practice in today. Maybe I'll finally do a short podcast. We'll see how that goes. Wish me luck. Um, I will see you guys next week, Thursday at noon Eastern for sure. Probably Wednesday, but I'm not positive of that. But probably Wednesday, but next Thursday for sure. Okay. I think next Thursday for sure. Do I have to go to Boston on Thursday? I don't think so. But check the shows here on the Whatnot app, and you'll know for sure. So don't forget to follow me here, please, on Whatnot, and then follow me on the Instagram and the YouTube and the Blue Sky, and I'll follow you back. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope it's less rainy than it is now. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot. Bye. Bling. Create a raid. 6 people. Ooh, Custom Cut Comics is on right now.